Welcome to another movie summary. Today we are going to go over the summary of the movie Brothers, produced in 2009. The story begins on October 7th, 2007 in a United States Navy training camp. The next day, Commander Sam Cahill is sent to Afghanistan. Before leaving, he writes a sad farewell letter that if he does not return, he will deliver it to his wife. He gives the letter to the major, hoping that he will return and nothing will happen to him. Now Sam is returning home. Now we see his wife Grace. He has two daughters. The youngest is Maggie, and the oldest is Isabel. Sam also has a brother named Tommy. Tommy is kind of the opposite of him. He went to prison for robbing a bank and now his sentence is over and he's been released. Now he meets his brother and they head into town together. Now we see Grace preparing dinner, and they're going to have a party to celebrate Tommy's release. Just then Tommy arrives. When he knocks on the door, his little nephew opens the door for him. And the little girl reveals her mother and tells him, "I don't think your mother likes you very much." Now we see the family at the dinner table, happy that Tommy has been released. And on the one hand, they are praying for their oldest son because he is going on a mission to Afghanistan. Now we see their father, Hank. He is angry with Tommy and compares him to Sam and humiliates him in front of everyone. He tells Tommy that your brother is a hero, unlike you, who are useless. The father makes Tommy very angry with these words, and eventually a fight starts.
Some food. Tommy?
As Tommy leaves, he tells his brother to be very careful. That same night, Sam takes off his wedding ring and his wife hangs it on his neck and tells him that she loves him very much. 5 days pass and we see Sam on the roads of Afghanistan. He feels very comfortable there and has no bad feelings. She takes out her phone and films everything there. A few minutes later, they board the helicopter and take off. Then their helicopter is attacked and they crash. Meanwhile, we see Grace in the bathtub. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. The older daughter goes and opens the door. She sees two soldiers who seem to have come to tell her that her husband has died. Grace doesn't want to accept that Sam is dead. She keeps watching old videos of her husband and keeps calling him on the phone. That night, Tommy comes home drunk to return the car. Tommy is very surprised that Grace is so upset about a broken headlight. Grace tearfully tells Tommy what happened to her brother. Tommy was the last person to know about this. He starts to yell and tell her, "You shouldn't have let him go to Afghanistan."
For what now, huh?
Tommy goes back to his parents' house and sits on the steps. Then his mother comes and takes him inside. And Tommy tells her that he wants to be alone for a while. The next day he arrives and Grace is getting the girls ready for the funeral. But the girls tell her that they don't like black. At the funeral, the major comes to Grace and gives her the farewell letter. After the ceremony, Hank has had a few drinks, and now Tommy tries to take the car keys from him and tells him, "You're drunk." Hank scolds Tommy again and compares him to his older brother. Now Tommy has something to say to his father. He tells him that you weren't such a good father or husband, and that you filled Sam's mind with military nonsense. Finally, Hank gives him the keys and walks home. Now Grace is kind of afraid to open the letter and pushes it aside. Now we return to Afghanistan. The Taliban are escorting two soldiers. Here it turns out that Sam and another soldier survived, and now the Taliban have captured them and thrown them into an underground prison. Sam tells the soldier to keep quiet if they want to talk to you. Now we see Tommy drunk at 3 a.m. calling Grace and asking her to lend him $47. And he tells her that if I don't account for the money I drank, I'll get in trouble again. Now Grace is forced to help him and save him. Then she goes after him in a car and gets him drunk. Tommy wakes up the next morning to the sound of dishes clanging in the kitchen. The girls decide to make pancakes to please their mother, who is very sad about their father's death. Now Tommy asks them to be quiet and be silent. But Maggie doesn't listen to him, and Tommy has to get up from the couch. A few minutes later, Hank comes to their house to visit them. Suddenly, he catches sight of his son, and he didn't expect him to be here. Then Hank comes to his son and apologizes for his behavior the night before, and Tommy admits that Sam has always been smarter than him. But Hank says no, that's not true. You always quit everything you started, unlike your brother. Then he tells his son, "I don't know how Grace and the kids cook in this kitchen, and you should help out here." Then we go back to Afghanistan and see Sam watching the Taliban through the planks. He sees a helicopter flying over the Taliban camp. He is now sure that they will find them sooner or later. Then they start to break the boards with a rock. At that moment, one of the Taliban threatens them with a gun and puts a large rock on the board so that they cannot escape. Now we see Tommy, who has listened to his father and is renovating Grace's kitchen with his friend without informing him. 2 months have passed since they were captured. Sam tries to stay calm, but the soldier is starting to get mad and tells Sam that he wishes he had drowned in the water before he came there and starved to death. Sam is very insistent that Joe should not reveal his identity at all. Then he hears the Taliban arguing and says to the soldier, "Remember what I told you? There is no information and you are not to tell them anything. Got it?" Now it seems that the Taliban have decided to move them to another location. Meanwhile, they bring out an Afghan man and force him to kneel. And now they realize that this man has been calling his pregnant wife using a satellite phone and revealing their location. Then they shoot him right away and kill him. Then the Taliban leader says, "This is our country and you have no right to be on our soil." And they tell Sam that he has to deliver this message to America or we will have to kill you too. Meanwhile, we see Grace, who is very sad and thinks that Sam is dead and no longer exists. Then we see Tommy and his friends continuing to renovate the house. They even bring their 2 little girls along to work together. They remember what a great athlete their father was. Then Maggie accidentally knocks over a paint tray and spills paint on one of the men.
Shit the bed!
Now she needs new clothes and Maggie is really angry about it. Grace goes to get her something from Sam's closet. Grace, feeling very upset and stressed, gathers all the clothes and takes them to the man and tells him, "It's all for you. I don't need them." Now we see Sam tied to a stick. Then one of the Taliban comes to him and throws water in his face, waking him up. Then they ask him, "Do you want to help your friend or not?" Now they torture the soldier with a hot iron rod and Sam can't bear to see him suffer. Then we see the soldier's video, saying that the Americans have no business here and sending love and affection to his wife and child. And also reveals that Sam has 2 daughters. Now Grace comes home and suddenly gets a surprise. She sees that the kitchen has been remodeled and is finished just in time for her birthday. Then all her relatives suddenly come and surprise her and congratulate her. The next day she arrives and they want to go to the ski resort. While walking on Isabel, the older sister complains to Tommy and says that everyone loves Maggie because she is so funny. Then Tommy tells her a story and tells her how Sam saved her from the river. They arrive at the skating rink and Grace is very happy that Tommy is so nice to the kids. The next day, Tommy goes to the bank he robbed earlier and tries to ask for forgiveness from the bank clerk who threatened him during the robbery. They talk for an hour and he realizes that the woman hasn't been able to sleep properly for 3 years because she's been living in fear. And she keeps thinking that maybe one day a thief will come and shoot her. Now Tommy is telling Grace about this, and Grace is proud of him for being able to go and ask for forgiveness. Then they reminisce about their school days. And Grace admits that she didn't like him at all back then because he was always drunk and started fights. Then they slowly look at each other and get closer and kiss. Meanwhile, Grace suddenly comes to her senses and decides to go out and get some fresh air. Tommy is kind of upset and starts crying and ends up leaving Grace at home. When Grace is lying in her bed, she picks up the letter again to read it, but she's still scared and puts it away again. Now we see Sam and the soldier still being tortured. One day Sam is given an iron pipe in order to kill his comrade. Since the soldier has revealed everything, the Taliban no longer cares and it's just another burden on them. Sam first throws the pipe away, but they point a gun at him, and they tell him it's either him or you. Then they mention Sam's family and say that if you don't kill him, you'll never see your wife and little daughter again. The Taliban start screaming and Sam beats his comrade to death with the pipe and kills him. And one of the Taliban films him doing it. Tommy returns to Grace's house again under the pretext of installing security panels. Grace is a little upset and restless after the incident of the previous night. She says that I would be very happy to see the girls from time to time. Grace replies that they would be very happy to see you and love you. A few minutes later, Hank arrives. She is very surprised that her son is doing the cooking. Meanwhile, the Taliban camp is attacked by American forces. One of the leaders tries to kill Sam but fails. But instead, he is shot and falls into the hole next to Sam and dies. And the camera that was recording the film burns. Now Commander Sam is freed from captivity. While Tommy is playing with the children in the yard, the house phone rings. Grace answers the phone and realizes that her husband is alive. She is shocked and can't believe it. Then the whole family comes to the airport to welcome him. Tommy is both happy and sad. Then the girls immediately show him the new kitchen, and they tell him that Tommy and his friend came and renovated it. Now Sam is lying on the bed, holding his wife and daughter tightly in his arms. Then Grace goes to Sam in the bathroom and kisses Sam's scars. He has changed a lot because of the pressure, and that's very natural. Now Tommy reads the newspaper and learns that the soldier was killed by Sam. Hank notices Sam's strange behavior and remembers that he himself withdrew from his sons after returning from the Vietnam War and was cold to them. Then Sam sees how happy Grace and the children are with Tommy and how well they treat each other. He tells Tommy that you look great with my family and thanks him for taking care of them all this time. Tommy suddenly says something that Sam does not expect at all. He says Grace is truly a miracle and a truly beautiful woman. Then Sam asks him, "Did you sleep with her?" Tommy laughs and tells him, "Are you crazy?" But Sam doesn't believe anything else and stands firm and thinks 100% that they slept together. And he thinks they are acting like two teenagers in love. Meanwhile, the wife of the dead soldier comes to Sam's house and talks to Grace. Here we see the little child of the dead soldier. And the woman tells Grace that she keeps dreaming about her husband and Sam. And she tells her that I hate Sam so much in my dreams because he managed to survive, but my husband was killed. I came here to apologize to you and Sam. Then she asks Sam if you saw my husband die. Sam lies and says I didn't see him at all, and I don't know anything about his death. One night, Sam gets very angry with his gun, as if he's looking for someone, and starts picking up the glasses for himself. The next day, Sam returns to the military base and says he wants to go back to work. The major asks about his family, and Sam says he can't stay there and they don't understand me. But Sam needs to spend some time with his family. It's dinner time and the girls are joking around. Sam loses control and yells at his daughter, and tells them that their jokes aren't funny at all. Grace tries to calm her husband down, but he just gets up and leaves. Isabel asks Grace when Uncle Tommy will be back. Then Grace goes to her husband and talks to him about what happened in Afghanistan. But he doesn't say anything and only asks about what happened between her and Tommy. Grace says nothing happened between us, and I thought you were a man. But Sam still believes they slept together. Then she gets up and leaves, deciding to go to Private Joe's grave in the middle of the night. The next morning, while the girls are playing outside, their father comes home. Isabel gets scared when she sees him and steps back. Then Sam comes and talks to them and tells them everything will be okay. It gets dark and night, and they go to Hank's house to celebrate Maggie's birthday. Now everyone is waiting for Tommy. He comes home, but he is not alone. He brings home Tina, a girl he met only an hour ago. Then Tina sits at the table and talks nonsense about the army. Tommy elbows her, but she keeps talking. Sam gets angry again. Then Sam pushes her kids and keeps blaming Isabel. Isabel says everyone loves Maggie the most, and you always buy her the best presents. Isabel keeps blowing balloons to get the adults' attention.
Anyone does it. How did you do it?
Isabel. Stop it.
What?
Then suddenly Sam gets up and pops that balloon. The girl cries and says, "Why didn't you die? You're angry because Mom wants to sleep with Uncle Tommy, not with you. They were all making love when you weren't there." Now there's a huge silence in the crowd. Sam is very shocked. They go back home without saying anything else. Before going to bed, Isabel apologizes to her mother. She knows this isn't right, and she just doesn't love her father anymore. And she wants Uncle Tommy instead. Maggie says, "I want Uncle Tommy too." Then Sam sits in the living room and asks his wife if the kids are asleep. Then he gets up and starts destroying the new kitchen with a knife in his hand. He hits it angrily and screams loudly and says, "I wish they had killed me there." Sam tells him, "I don't understand how you could sleep with my brother and I love you." Now he remembers what he did to survive and return home, and he blames himself. And he says, "Do you know what I did with my own hands?" At that moment, Tommy enters the house, and he hugs his brother. But Sam pulls out his gun from behind him and puts it to his throat. The sound of a police siren comes from outside. Sam comes out with a gun in his hand. He is ordered to put the gun down.
Drop your weapon! What are you doing?
But he screams and says, "Why are you here?" The cops tell him, "We know who you are, and we even know you're a war hero." Sam screams loudly, "What kind of hero am I? You don't know what I did!" He puts the gun to his head, and Tommy and Grace try to reach him and prevent this disaster. His brother says to him, "What are you doing, Sam?" He says, "I'm drowning Tommy." At that moment, Sam drops his gun and is arrested. Now his wife sleeps with his children and makes them feel safe. Grace opens the envelope and reads her husband's letter about how much Sam loves her and their daughters. She starts to cry, and the words somehow pierce her heart. At that moment, Sam calls Tommy from the veterans psychiatric clinic to reconcile with him. The next day, Tommy stays with his nephews while Grace goes to see her husband. She tells Sam, "I've loved you since I was 16, and I've loved you. If you don't tell me what happened to you in Afghanistan, you'll never see me again." Then she tells him, "Why are you torturing yourself?" Sam now thinks it's time to tell her everything. A tear rolls down his cheek and he says, "I killed Private Joe Willis." Grace hugs him and Sam finally asks himself if he can ever live a normal life again. And this movie ends. If you liked this movie summary, be sure to tell me what you think about it, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel because you are a great support to me.